Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is about how you work in your shop. My previous background is in project and program management, very large corporate engagements, very large projects, a lot of people, a lot of process. And what I've learned as I've moved into being a solo woodworker, building commissions for clients, is that all the principles that I learned and that I taught people who reported to me as far as project management apply to woodworking. This video is for weekend woodworkers, DIYers, people building their first project, people building their 100th project, and I think especially people like me who are building commissions for clients. When I first started working, I had to focus on one project at a time. And what I would ask you is, have you ever gone into your workshop? Maybe you have a plan in front of you and you know, okay, I'm building this cabinet and it's got shelves and it's got a back and maybe it has a base that you're going to build separately. But you go in every day and you just work on stuff and you don't have a clear plan. What I want to show you are some very simple tools that allow you to be much more productive, that allow you, let's say you're a dad or a mom and you come into the workshop after dinner. Maybe you get home early one day. Maybe you have some time in the weekend, but you've got to leave for one of your children's soccer practice or volleyball or baseball. And you've got to allocate your time carefully. What I want to show you are some tips and tricks, things that I took from my previous professional career, but can be applied now to woodworking. They don't require any expensive software. They really depend on a Gmail calendar, an Outlook calendar. I use Excel a lot. This will work absolutely perfect on Google Sheets. It can become a chore if you go in and you get some of your stuff done and then you don't get all of it and you feel like you're kicking the can down the road. What I'm going to show you coming up are some ways to make that easier, to really chunk your work in really, really small pieces. But I promise you, I've done this professionally. I've seen it work. I've seen it work on huge projects, on small projects, and again, this has allowed me in my single person workshop to build more than one client project at the same time because I'm managing it in little bite-sized chunks. This is the worksheet that I use to lay out the tasks, the actual things that I need to do to build a piece of furniture. And again, this applies if you're doing it on the weekends, if you're doing small commissions or large. So I break things out into the categories such as design, sides, top and bottom drawer dividers, main carcass, etc. And these individual tasks are things that I'll show you later that you put on your calendar and that allow you to break these into tasks, which will take you an hour or 2 hours to do. The more you do this, the better you will get at it. And you can look at it historically and look at a project you did last year and go, oh, I thought this was going to take 2 hours, but it really only took you an hour. So let's look at the calendar and see how you apply this. What I'm showing here is what I believe many people start out with, which is just a general, I'm going to work on client or home projects uh, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday morning. And I've got a couple of personal things. So you'll see here I have a personal thing. Maybe my kids have soccer practice or hockey on Thursday afternoon. So I'm not going to be working. And this is assuming I am doing this full time. If you're a weekend worker, you might just have evenings. So you might have something here where you're going to say, I'm working on project X. and I'm working on it before dinner. So maybe you do that. Yeah. But I really have no way of accounting for what I did. Now, here's another way to look at things that's much easier to define what I'm working on. And again, this applies whether you're putting this on your personal calendar or on a specialized workshop calendar, or if you run a shop. So I've taken these tasks from my spreadsheet and now I've put them in very granular fashion onto my calendar. And you'll see I'm color coding them. That just makes it very, very easy to scan the calendar. And again, here I'm showing it as a single workshop calendar where I've got a project in blue, I've got a project in purple, I've got some work in the shop or in the orange, and then website, Instagram, whatever work you want to do is in red. And then my personal stuff is in green. So I can just scan this and imagine you only had the purple project and you're doing this on the weekends and evenings. Then you just have purple stuff and green stuff. And then maybe your work where you work at a job is in another color. But it just makes it really easy to scan. Now, in my case, you'll see I've broken it down into very, very granular things. And that allows me to look at this calendar and say, okay, on Monday, I plan to do this task from my spreadsheet, which I put in here. And then the afternoon, I wanted to work on this task. And if I finish them on Tuesday, whether it's Tuesday during the day, if I'm a full-time woodworker, or in the evening, I finish this other thing. If I didn't finish something, then I just go into my calendar and then I move it and I push things out. And again, as you get better and better, it will make more sense to you and you'll get even more accurate. It makes you so much happier in doing the work. It gives you a sense of accomplishment and it just makes life easy and makes you enjoy your woodworking. Again, whether it's for fun, whether you're building a partner project, a child a project, or if you're building a client project and you want to do two or three. You'll see here that I might have two different client projects and I do some work on one client project. I put it aside, maybe I'm letting the lumber acclimate, and then I work on another project. Now let's see what happens if you didn't finish a task. So the way you use your calendar is the same thing you would do. I'm creating new tasks. I'm moving things around that I didn't finish. I might be splitting them out, copying and pasting. In this case, I'm moving things down, and then I'm going to move things that were planned for Friday in the afternoon. I'm going to move them, modify the task and the date, and I'm going to put them for the next week. So I've easily updated what I've done and what I still need to do. I'll find buying lumber at a hardware dealer or even a quality big box store stressful. So this is a tool that I have. It's using Excel or Google Sheets to plan out what boards I need, what lengths, and this allows you when you go to your hardwood dealer or big box store or your favorite hardware store to say, I need a 9 foot, in this case, a 9 foot long board, and it needs to be 8 inches wide. Here I see that I've got side one, I've got three boards. I know they need to be 21 inches finished, and therefore I could buy a 10, an 8, and a 4, or I could buy an 8, a 7, and a 7. But I go into this lumber yard and I've got this plan, and it means that instead of taking an hour and a half to do this, I can easily get this accomplished. I don't overbuy. I leave the lumber yard knowing I have what I need. And again, I can price it out accordingly, whether it's just a plan for a client commission
or whether it's just I have a budget for a table I'm building for my family. This also allows you to look at how many boards you need, and also if you need to swap something out to make it easier. If you know your lumber dealer has nines, or maybe they mostly have 8 foots, it allows you in Excel or in Google Sheets to copy something and move it and have it recalculate what you need. So here I'm swapping out a board that think I may not be able to find, and I'm going to copy and paste it, and I'm going to move it down to where I might have shelves or I have my center divider. But again, you're using a simple tool like this to do the work up front, and maybe you make a copy of it and you say, if I go down to my lumber dealer, they may have nines, I can buy that. If they only have eights, then I'm going to do something slightly different.
I hope you found these tools to be really helpful. Again, I've tried to show you things that are very, very easily done, that don't require crazy formulas, that use your Gmail calendar, your Outlook, whatever you want to use. You can use Excel, you can just use your Gmail calendar and put notes in there. Again, I like to know before I go to my hardwood dealer roughly what I'm going to spend. Particularly on a client project where I've built out a proposal, I've gotten a deposit, and I need to know how much money I'm spending. In doing this, you will learn every time you do a project. And I'm telling you, if you build a box, a beautiful box, maybe for your spouse, your partner, your mom or dad, whoever it is, you will learn how much time it takes you. You will learn where you overestimate, you will learn where you underestimate. In the beginning, you'll be way too conservative. You'll say, this box with beautiful finger joints is going to take me 30 hours. And when you break it down into chunks, you'll find out, oh, it only took me 20 hours. Now you've got that learning. Please comment. Please ask me questions about how to do this. I'm happy to post some of these templates that have the formulas built in with some instructions. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And more woodworking videos to come.